www.teaclls.com. And as always, we bring the fine teas from different parts of the world for your consumption. And as always, before you purchase any herbs from Tea Cell, make sure you consult your physician or medical provider before any purchase of herbs or any type of consultation, herbal consultation. Many, I guess, wonder, are you getting the most benefits from a tea leaf when you're steeping, and maybe you're not steeping it in the right temperature of the water? For example, green tea, of course, most people do a temperature of maybe 175, 180, 185, somewhere in that range, depends on what type of tea, green tea. As you get more acclimated to certain teas and knowledge of teas, you kind of come to an understanding that even though it's a green tea, certain green teas require a little less temperature than the others. But in that case, 170, 175, 180, 85 is your typical temperature for a green tea. But the average person that consumes tea may not be following the guidelines of a specific temperature, whether it be at their home or at work in the office or something like that. So the average person just get their water hot and may not have access to an apparatus or a device that may allow them to see the temperature of a particular tea to get to the more temperature that is required for that particular tea according to the tea expert guidelines. So in that matter, some people may brew their tea, make sure it gets hot, but the question is, are you getting benefits from that leaf if you're not steeping that particular tea hot enough or cold enough? Is it too cold, too hot? Yes, it does have an effect on the extraction of the constituents. But I would say, because like I said before, the average person don't have an apparatus to formulate the right temperature for a particular tea. They're looking to just enjoy the tea and acquire the benefits that comes with it. But I would say that so long as your tea is hot, as you know, heat is going to extract more of the nutrients. Cold will do it, but it'll do it at a much lower pace. Plus, in cold, the extraction of the constituents will more or less fall to the bottom. It won't give you a good mixture. When it's hot, it extracts more of the nutrients from that leaf. In addition, it stirs it. It disperses it around the water of the tea. So in that essence, you know, if you don't have the right temperature and your water's hot, and you know that you was able to get a good tasting tea out of whatever temperature you use, you are getting nutrients. Of course, you're getting nutrients. How much? Well, you can't really tell. But what I would say is, if you feel like you're not getting enough nutrients, then you can always re-steep it in some more hot water. And because what's going to happen is, if you don't get the nutrients out of that leaf, it's just going to stay in that leaf until you steep it again, and you might get the remaining portion of the constituents that may be left in the leaf. So just re-steeping it in hot water will kind of give you some type of comfort that you might be getting the best nutrients from that particular tea. So I wouldn't be alarmed by that too much. Now, if it's too cold, or if it's too hot, you know, you might end up getting a different type of taste to it. If you steep it too long, in that essence, you might get a different type of taste to it. So the temperature and the time can fluctuate the taste, but in this aspect of dealing with the benefits, if you have it in a nice heated temperature, of course you're going to be getting nutrients from it. But if you feel like you're not, then just re-steep it and do it again. And it's almost like wringing out a towel. You might wring it once, and then there might be still some water residuals in the towel, and you just wring it again. So that's the same kind of concept you're doing with the tea leaf. So don't make it too complicated. You are getting benefits, and any kind of benefits you're getting from tea is it's good benefits, whether the water temperature is not exact or just right. And this is another episode of Tea Cell Therapy, www.teaclls.com, bringing a healthy leaf to a precious body.